Hey guys, welcome to season 13 of the 15-ish minute coffee chat, a conversation providing tips for every entrepreneur and business owner.
Do you feel seen as an entrepreneur? As an expert in your industry, your small business is often focused on doing the best work for your clients and not following metrics. Guest Laura Sinclair shares the strategies and tactics for you to be seen as an entrepreneur and expert. You deserve a space to be respected and get what you want out of your small business experience.
You guys, okay, first of all, I want to bring up a little slide that says how this episode even came to fruition. I'm going to bring it up. I'm going to be like, okay, so right here. And for those of you who think Threads is dead, it's really not, because this is where I found Laura. So I happened to actually start going back into Threads, and I came across Laura's thread, like Laura's going to have to tell me, I don't know what you call it, right? I'm like, it's not a tweet. What is the thread version? Is it a thread? Anyway. So I want to read this to you because if you're listening to the podcast, her thread said, I was rejected as a podcast guest on a show you've never heard of recently because I don't have a, in quotes, big enough Instagram following. 10 years in PR and digital marketing and 10 years building multi-6 and 7-figure businesses and guesting on 50 plus podcasts was irrelevant, apparently. I'm not sad about it, but it does make me think, why are we using follower count as a measurement of worth? And so many people resonated with her post. And I mean, right now, like as of this photo, there was like 413 likes and 256 comments. Mine being one of them, which you'll see on the screen, says, oh my gosh, we would love to have you on our 13th season we're recording. And you know what? She responded and she said, fun. I'd love to come on your show. Please send me a link. So
ta-da! She's going to come on our show today because of this. We're so excited.
And I just, you know what? Because you're right. Like, I think we've all been in a situation where we're like, just because I'm not super famous here means that I'm not relevant or that I could not bring value to a show. And I just really hit, right? And I was like, Anna, I just invited somebody. I haven't even like talked to you about it. And she's like, whatever. Anyway, Anna.
Yes. Well, once I saw this, really, you know, what popped into my head is like, the purpose of that show, what they were looking for was not an expert guest. It wasn't good content. It wasn't like relevant value that might be given to their audience. It was like, can you promote me? Right. And so I'm excited to kind of talk to Laura and talk about that visibility kind of aspect of being a small business owner, because we can't just not be anywhere. We have to have a strategy for being seen, for marketing ourselves, for talking about our products and services, for letting people know that we're available, like to offer things, right? And so many times that follower metric is what indicates to us that we're doing a good enough job. So I cannot wait for today's conversation and kind of like how the story all unfolds and what Laura, as a PR strategist and like super experienced expert in this area, would say to other small businesses about this.
What is our call to action question before we read her bio?
Yeah. So if you're listening live today, we want to know, do you feel seen as an entrepreneur? And that word seen, we're leaving the definition up to you, right? Yeah. We want to know, when you look at yourself, your business, do you feel like you're being seen for who you are and what you do?
Yeah.
Give us a thumbs down. Let us know in the comments. We're here watching the show with you. So we would love to hear from you and say, like, what's your answer to that?
Yeah, no, totally. All right. I'm going to bring up, and hey, look, we're going in a speedy way because if you don't know, me and Anna are moms. Laura is also a mom. And guess what? All I have to say is pick up and school, and you should all understand what that entails. You cannot be late. You need to get in line so you're in the front, right? So you can just get in and get out, or you're stuck all the way in the back. Or Laura may tell you she might get a phone call just because she was like 1 minute late or 2 minutes late. I don't know. Anyway, so we're going kind of speedy today. Yeah. I'm not trying to rush to be rude. I just want to get all the goods from Laura. And now, hey, Laura, I know you're down. I brought it up. Pickup line is now part of our official conversation. So she's game. All right. So let's read her bio. Laura Sinclair, a business and marketing mentor. Her company name, This Mother Means Business. Oh, I love her so much already. Laura believes that you and your business deserve to be seen. With over a decade of experience building digital marketing strategies for some of the world's biggest brands, Laura has dedicated her life's work to teaching women how to grow their businesses and take big leaps into their entrepreneurial dreams through her podcast, courses, and events. She is also she's a corporate dropout. I love this where she writes it. She's a corporate dropout to multi-six-figure business owner. Her journey ranges from public relations, sports marketing, sponsorship marketing, and social media management to nutrition coach, gym owner, women's event host, community build. I mean, the list goes on and on. Like, this woman has busted her butt and has really gained a lot of knowledge into just kind of like what her passions are.
I
She's
feel like
also, yeah.
I just feel like we rounded up with like, this mother means business, people.
I mean, yeah, what a perfect freaking
Right?
word, right? Yeah, like, but I'll leave this off. She is also a mom of two, right? And so I'm a mom of one. Anna is also a mom of two, but also 3 additions. She's got like 3 beautiful step kids. So let's just make it a family total show today too. So let's bring up our guest today. I'm super excited.
Hi,
Da-da-da-da.
Hi.
Laura.
Thank you so much for having me and to giving truth to the stress of the pickup line. I think it's actually one of the more stressful things that I do in a day. So thank you.
Yeah. I shared with Laura that my daughter is graduating high school in just a little bit. And I said that I am so glad I don't have to deal with school pickup. Laura said, how old is your kiddo, Laura?
So I have a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. So we're grade 1. So I have many years of school pickup to go.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you'll have to tell me how it evolves later on, right? So yeah, hey guys, we're gonna stay on task. We need to get Laura off in like 22 minutes. Okay.
We're gonna be fine.
Yeah, totally, we're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
So let's start with our coffee cup selfie, because we always like to get one of those in. We use these, right? So
yep. Okay. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sip. Cheers. Let's do the
cheers.
Yes. All right,
Laura.
So today we're talking about visibility strategies for entrepreneurs with you, Laura Sinclair. We're going to start with asking you, can you just talk about your own story and what led to you to kind of have these conversations about visibility as a business owner? Tell us a little more about that.
So I have a background in public relations, and I'm going to try to keep this story as short as possible because it could be long. As you're reading my bio, being like, there are so many things on this list. Where do we start? So my background's in PR. And so I started my career there. I worked in marketing. And so I worked for a lot of these big brands that were using a lot of really high level, expensive strategies to get in front of more audiences. So I was exposed to this idea of borrowing audiences very early in my career through public relations and some of the marketing that I was doing for some of these big brands. And in 2015, I quit my corporate job and I ran a CrossFit gym for 5 years. So I was like, forget this, I'm out. I'm going to go run a CrossFit gym. I bought a failing CrossFit gym and turned it around. And one of my biggest regrets in that time that I owned the gym was how much I, as the owner, actually hid. And so I hid behind my brand. My gym was called CrossFit Bradford. And so we'd always talk about CrossFit Bradford, but I rarely showed my own face. I rarely leaned into my own story. And, over a series of events that, I'm not going to bore you with all of the details, but in March of 2020, when the world shut down, and 2 weeks out of an abundance of caution, we all know the rest of that story. I was 8 weeks pregnant with my now 3.5-year-old son. And so my gym wasn't something that came with us after the pandemic. My husband and I made the decision to close it. But when I reflect on that time, it's really not leaning into my own story, my own visibility. And I know that, not that I have any regrets over that chapter of my life closing. I love what I do now. I know that as a small business owner, my business would have been probably 10 times more successful if I had leaned into who I am. Because people, when you think about a CrossFit gym in general, people imagine really big burly dudes, things that are really scary. But the reality is most of the people that are actually in a CrossFit gym are 30-year-old women who just want to feel better, 30 to 40-year-old women who just want to feel better about themselves. That is actually where CrossFit gyms are making most of their money. And so when I reflect on that time, it was really, for me, a fear around being seen, right? What if somebody doesn't like me or doesn't know what I have to say? But being able to reflect on it, knowing that it was a really big missed opportunity for me as a business owner to tell my story and to have positioned myself as even a safer place for people to have walk into, you know? And so for me, with the tools that I have and with that knowing, really go into helping other female entrepreneurs go through that process. Because as a marketer, as a digital marketer, public relations person, it's very easy for me to say, just do X, Y, Z things to get your business in front of more audience. But there's a whole lot of inner work that comes with it too. You really do have to be willing to put yourself out there and take up space in a way that most of us aren't really that comfortable with.
Yeah. So, okay. So just a couple of like follow-up questions. The first one being like, do you feel like this ties to kind of this trend we're seeing of wanting to support businesses where we believe in the person and kind of like that authenticity? I'm going to throw that word out there because that's kind of a big buzzword these days, right? Like your business has to be authentic, appear authentic. They want to know the value system of the people behind the business. Do you feel like that's why this visibility is becoming so much more important, and why you could have done so much better, like, as you said, as a CrossFit gym owner, if you put yourself out there in front?
Yeah, I mean, I think visibility is essential to all businesses, because it doesn't matter if you have the very best offer, product, service in the world if nobody knows that you exist. And so that's a huge piece of it. But, you know, to your point around authenticity, yeah, that is how we create the connection. And so, you know, when we think about a funnel in marketing, the first step of a funnel is people knowing that you are here. And that's where it starts. And then we start to move into, okay, now somebody likes me. Now I like this person, or I like this company. And that's where the authenticity piece comes in. So it's sort of, it's two parts, right? It's the part that says, okay, I'm going to do the things that I have to do in my business so that people know that I exist. And then once they know that I exist, am I doing the things to create real authentic connection with them in a way that's not performative, in a way that is really true to who you are and the story behind your brand, whether you are selling service or product.
Yeah. I love what you're sharing here so much. And I mean, it throws us right into the next question, because I want to start asking you questions about like the strategy behind now.
Yeah.
If you have to be seen, how are you going to do it? Especially if you're uncomfortable in that position, right? Especially if you're like, I can't go on camera, or, oh, I sound dumb when I'm in audio, or, you know, whatever that thing is that stops you from being out doing jumping jacks, or, you know, haha, here I am, camera, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll talk about two things. I'm going to talk about the actual tactical stuff around how you grow audience, how you get more eyeballs on your business. But before we do that, I think it's important to talk about those inner stories, right? The things that show up, that like tightness in your chest when I say something to a client that's like, pitch yourself for a podcast, or, you know, maybe we'll send something to your local media. We'll try to get, you know, you featured in Forbes or whatever. Not that that's local, but try to get you in, like, it's that tightness. It's not like, oh God, I don't know that I can do that. And so much of that story is related to our own worth, right? That worthiness around taking up space. And we're all moms here. I think moms are inherently people pleasers and tend to do everything, you know, for other people. And so this idea of like asking or taking up space can be like a pretty deeply rooted thing. And so that's probably more than a 15-ish minute conversation that we can dive into. But starting there, and I think, you know, the other thing that I see is a lot of the time we're waiting for this confidence to show up. Well, when I feel ready, this readiness, you're never going to feel ready. You're never going to feel ready. You're never going to feel confident. Confidence is built through repetition, right? It's a skill. What you need to choose is to be brave. And if you're choosing entrepreneurship already, you're already made a brave choice. But there is a requirement as someone that's trying to build a business to do the uncomfortable thing. And so one of the things that I work with my clients is like, we're going to be uncomfortable, but we're going to do it anyway. And we're going to try to equip ourselves with as much protection and as much support around that discomfort as possible. But if your dream, your big, hairy, delusional dream that most entrepreneurs hold is something that you want to see through, you are going to have to do this thing that's uncomfortable right now. And that is the thing that's taking up space, or doing the tactics that we'll talk about in a second to actually be in front of people. You have to be willing to say, you know what, I actually don't care if this isn't for somebody, or I don't care if I make a fool of myself on the internet today, Or I don't care if I go on this podcast today right now with no makeup on because it's just that kind of a day, right? That's okay, right? And it's like really being able to move past that and remembering that like nobody that is going to be judging you is ahead of you. Anyone that has any negative thought about what it is that you're doing is behind you. They're not even in the arena with you, to quote my friend Brene Brown. She's not my friend, but I wish she was.
I was just I just unmuted myself because she's like my friend Brene Brown. I was like, stop it. Okay,
no,
anyway, continue.
We're not really friends, but like we're friends.
Yeah, inside, of course. Okay.
Inside. But it is that, right? It is that like being able to almost put like fact to the feeling and push through the feeling and just say like, this is the thing that I have to do in order to get my business seen, because so many incredible entrepreneurs, business owners, founders work so hard on creating this incredible product, service, course, like whatever it is that you're selling, and then are so shy when it comes to screaming about this thing from the rooftops, whether it's on social media or getting on podcasts or doing press or going to networking events. Like all of these things are required. And for anyone listening, I want you to know I'm an introvert. And so doing these things for me took time. Selena, yeah, you are one too. So you feel me on this, right? Some people will look at me and, I build my business on social media. I do a lot of in-person things and a lot of networking and a lot of creating video content. And a lot of them will say like, well, Laura, it's just easy for you. No, it's not. It's taken practice. It's taken reps. It takes a willingness to get it wrong, a willingness to look silly, and that none of that matters. But certainly, I've been building my business, this particular business, for 3.5 years. When I first started building my online business after leaving the gym, moving to the online space, I was terrible at creating video. I was horribly uncomfortable. And it's just something that got better with time. So I would say if you're a person, when we think about the idea of taking up space or the idea of like putting your business out there, that it feels you do get that tightness in your chest, know that that's okay, but you're going to have to do it anyway with love. And we're going to move through it. So that's what I would say on the mindset piece. And like I said, this is more than a 15-ish minute conversation. This is like diving into a lot of like our stories, the way we grew up, the people we surround ourselves with, what we believe to be true about ourselves, all of that, which is a really big conversation, which you're probably like, Laura, you're a marketer. Like, what are we, like, what does this have to do with it? And truly, when I got into this work, I was like, I'm just going to teach people how to market their business and it's going to be fine. But then it was like, there were just so many hurdles that were coming up. And so really needing to look at, okay, what is the inner story behind this? So there's that side of it. But to get into like the really tactical stuff, there are 3 ways that you can grow your audience, right? So we're going to talk about 2 to 3 strategies. I'm going to give you 3. There's the 3 Bs. You can build your audience, you can borrow your audience, or you can buy one as a marketer. Okay. So you can build your audience, which is things like on social media, right? Creating content, putting it out there across any platform. You could create your podcast similar to this show, right? If you do something yourself, you can start building your email list, create a freebie, things like that, right? So building your audience is something that takes a lot of time. We're going to be honest about that, right? That takes work. It takes time. It is organic. The people that you are building your audience through are going to be really much more likely to buy than some of the other people, or to buy from you than some of the other people I already talked about in a second. But building your audience is one of the ways that we get your audience, yourself, seen. And that is the easiest way to do that is social media, because it's free. For the most part, it does take a lot of work. There's time spent there, but it's free. The next one is borrow, right? You can borrow audience. And I'm doing that right now. Right? I'm here on the show with Anna and Selena. You have no idea who I am, and I am meeting you for the first time. So that is borrowing audience, right? So it's being on other people's podcasts. It's doing PR. It is going live with somebody on social media. It's not working with another company or a person who has a similar audience to you that you can serve in some way. This is actually my favorite strategy. Everyone should be building your audience. That should just be part of it. Right? But borrowing an audience, collaborating with other people, that really is, in my opinion, the most powerful way to get your business seen, and quickly, by people who are going to trust you. Because chances are, if you're listening to this podcast, you're watching live, or you're catching the recording, you trust Selena and Anna. And so they're bringing me on the show, even though we just met on Threads, and it was like kind of on a whim, and that's okay. And they're like, I hope this girl is actually legit. But it was kind of on a whim. But chances are, because I'm here on the show and there's trust already created, that if there's something that I've said that resonates with you, or you like my vibe or my energy, you may be like, you know what, I want to go hang out with Laura and go see what she's doing. And so borrowing an audience can be really powerful that way. And then buying an audience is the last one, and that's running digital ads and things like that. That's a fast way to get your business seen. However, I don't recommend it unless you've mastered the first two. If you're going to be buying ads, it's because you know that your organic funnel already works really well, and then you're going to put fuel on your fire. Buying ads never fixes anything if it's not a good system. But when I think about getting your business seen, there are hundreds of things that you could layer under those three big ideas, but we really think about buying an audience, building one, or borrowing one.
Laura, that is the best explanation I have heard ever for just like succinctly putting like how you're going to be able to have that, get that visibility, be seen, and how best practices for marketing works.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted halfway through to just throw up my little heart fingers and be like, I love you. I want to be.
I know. There were so many internal conversations. I was like, yeah, I hope she wants to come on like next season and we can continue another topic that Laura wants to talk about. And then two, I just want to go back to the very beginning part where you said, it's a great reminder. You're like, look, if you're an entrepreneur and you started this journey, you are already brave.
Yeah. So
like just to remind yourself when you got to do that hard thing, remember just even starting this business and wanting to be in this space is hard. You're right. I loved that you said that. And then three, what is the proper word for a thread post? Is it like, I don't even know.
It's just a thread.
Just a thread.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a thread. It's funny. I was a 2008 Twitter user. So I loved Twitter. So
yes.
Threads has been a pretty easy, I turned that my brain off for some time. I haven't used Twitter for years.
Yeah.
So I love Threads because it just like taps in. I'm like a kind of a bit of a quippy person. And so it's fun for me to just throw
throw those out.
It's just a thread, although it's hard not to call it a tweet.
Yeah. I know. What is it called now? Like, do you even know? Like, is it an X now? It's just
I don't know.
Right. Okay. I mean, I'm not there as much. Yeah. I
get some news over on Twitter. I like it for like news and like fast information, but I don't remember the last time I even.
Yeah. Okay. So not to do with the marketing question. Sorry, but I just had to ask.
Yeah. Okay. I want to back up because I love that Selena pulled out that you're already brave, because you know what I took from that first part of your conversation was there is a requirement for you to do this if you are a small business owner. This is part of your job. Like, it's not like something you can just not do and expect your business to grow. Yeah. And I loved that you said that. I'm like, oh, that's going up on like my reminder, like I guess you'd call it a vision board or whatever, right? But it's like that thing that I look at every once in a while and go, oh yeah, got to be doing that. Oh yeah, smart advice that went there. That's going up on there because I was like, you don't really have any other options unless you want someone else to be the face of your business.
Yeah. There is this piece, right? And, I mentor early stage female entrepreneurs. And one of the things that I say to people is like, please don't hire me if you're not willing to get uncomfortable, because I am going to ask you to do things that will make you uncomfortable. And if you're not there, I probably can't help you. And it's not worth the investment in mentorship because it's required. It is a requirement. And I think there is, I try to manage I want to speak negatively of anyone, but I think that you can tell pretty quickly when you meet an entrepreneur, the way they talk about their business, whether they're going to be successful or not. And if, in mentorship for me, if I have the same conversation with a person for 3 months, 4 months, we talk about the same thing, that we still haven't done, or there's still a hang up there. Then I start to question the likelihood of their being successful. There has to be a really big shift in them for them to be willing to do that. And if you're a person that feels like, oh, shoot, Laura's, I have been holding on to the same thing for 5-6 months, maybe even longer than that. I would just say, like, you can make a change, right? That you can change today, but you do have to choose to be uncomfortable. And I think that there's this misnomer that we see online that business is supposed to be easy or should be easy, or it should just like, I can take my magic fairy wand and like bippity boppity boo you into everything being easy breezy. But the people that we look up to, whoever that is in business, have all done really uncomfortable things to get there. They were all exactly where we are right now at some point. Everybody that's listening, the person you look up to was where you were at some stage. They just chose to continue to do things that are uncomfortable over and over and over again. And being uncomfortable comes with doing something new, right? If you're not uncomfortable in your business, if you don't think about quitting every now and then, you're probably not you're probably not pushing yourself, and you're probably not trying anything new, which are both requirements in order to achieve, those big delusional dreams we talked about before.
Oh my gosh, you made me think of a TikTok that I saw the other day, right? Where it's like, hey, entrepreneur on vacation, and she's standing in the water, but she's with her laptop and she's doing like, you know what I mean? Like that's the life of a business owner. I agree with everything you're saying about just, it is uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable for me to ask you to come on the show because what if you say no? It was uncomfortable for Anna and I to start this show 13 seasons ago, but we did, and you're right. Like when you do uncomfortable things, great rewards can come from pushing yourself. Right. And I so believe in what you just said with that. So I hope you guys all are listening, right? When you do uncomfortable things, some great things can happen.
I know. We're definitely going to have you back on, because just even like the conversation we had, I'm like, there are like 7 other topics I can think of that I'd love to cover with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would love to get that anytime.
Yeah. Okay. Let's share Laura's toolkit. I know we got to keep that.
I know. We have
the line in mind. We
have 7 minutes to pick up leaving departure time, guys. So, all right.
Laura, tell us about your community for entrepreneurial mothers and kind of what your toolkit is that you're sharing with us today.
Yeah, so I have a community. This is actually new for me. We just had our first mastermind call just today, so it was really fun. But I have a podcast. It's called This Mother Means Business. I've run it for about a year. So if you're an entrepreneurial mother and you like conversations around entrepreneurial motherhood, we talk about like what's real. We've had a lot of real talk about what it's like to run a business and be a mom. And we also have some really incredible experts that come on and share their expertise. And so we have the podcast, and I've started to build this really beautiful community in and around the podcast. Started doing bi-weekly just community connection calls, just getting a bunch of entrepreneurial moms on the call, connecting for free. And the women inside have called it the community hug. They renamed it because we just kind of like get together and commiserate and support each other. And I kind of realized that I needed to make this more than just a free call. And so the This Mother Means Business community launched officially last month. It is a space for mom entrepreneurs who want to come and get the knowledge that they need, but also get real support hinged around what it means to be a mom and a CEO, because there's a lot of business advice out there. And let's be honest, not all of it makes sense for moms. I've paid thousands of dollars for advice that just simply won't work for this season of my life. I have a 7 and a 3-year-old. So I got to get to pick up, right? This is my day is condensed. And so the thing that I would love for anyone that's listening that feels called to come is I do continue to host those free calls. So if you go to thismothermeansbusiness.com, or you can go to the link in the blog and scroll to the bottom, there is a place where you can sign up just to join the free calls. No obligation, of course. It's just a chance for me to help. I'm really in the energy of just helping as many people as possible. So it's a chance for us to connect there. And if you can get some free business advice, then that's a good place too.
Yeah. So you can find the links to all of these things we're talking about will be on the AnnaandSelena.com blog for Laura's show. So you can directly link to her blog and her page and her space. Her contact information. Let's drop that over. So if somebody wants to connect with you and reach out, maybe first of all, join your community on your website, but also second, maybe do some personal work with you. What's the best way for them to find you, Laura?
Yeah, so you can hang out with me on Instagram. It's Laura Sinclair. My LinkedIn is there too. I clearly haven't changed my maiden name over to my married name. Sometimes I just want to be Laura Connor. It just depends on how I feel, depending on how much I like my husband that day.
We can all relate. We can all relate.
or at laura-sinclair.com. You can find more information there. But seriously, if you've made it this far, we're officially friends. So feel free to DM me on any platform. I'm happy to say hi.
Hey, look, and also she is on Threads. I don't know why I didn't put that on there because that's where
I mean,
just
it's,
kind of read all her
it's
stuff.
Laura Sinclair on Threads too. You can come say hi to me there.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm just gonna go back to that slide real fast so you guys know it's right there. That's on Threads.
It's Laura Sinclair. That's awesome.
Yeah.
How it all started. You know what? Did not expect the response to that thread at all. It was just like, again, me just having a moment of being like, this is so silly.
Yeah.
And it just kind of blew up, which was really cool. I've made some really cool connections from it. So
I love that. I love that. Okay, we have 3 minutes.
Yes. Okay. So
and we did it.
Yes, we did do it. I just in response to that, though, I want you to know that I think it's because what you said on that thread resonates with so many entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So if you're feeling like you're alone out there, you're clearly not. All right. Now we're going to close down the show.
Yeah.
Laura, thank you so much for being our guest today. I love everything you said. I can't wait to put it on a t-shirt. To be honest.
Yes. No, you're awesome. I just feel like she should have the pickup line. Like it's the pickup line. And then that's how many like things could come from that. Just, like, yeah. Okay, I'm not supposed to talk actually during this part, Laura. Because I ramble
on forever. So I'm going to go ahead and let you know that you need to come find us at AnnaandSelena.com on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, or your favorite podcast platform. As always, we are so grateful for our listening audience. Make sure that you connect with us. And if you have a great idea for a show, let us know. Laura, thank you again for being our guest. We can't wait to see you on another 15-ish minute coffee.
Good luck with the pickup line. Bye, everybody.